ties to Bill Ayers, a radical terrorist from the 60s. Why is the McCain campaign bringing this up now?
Let's talk to somebody who would know. Nancy Pfotenhauer is with the campaign. She joins us live right now from down in the D.C. area. Good morning to you, Nancy.
Good morning.
Okay, well, so Sarah Palin was bringing up Bill Ayers. The New York Times brought up Bill Ayers. Now the Obama people are saying, we're going to bring up the Keating Five because McCain has not answered to that. Isn't that old news?
Ridiculous. The idea that McCain has somehow not answered to that when he was fully exonerated after a months-long process, when the Democratic counsel, Robert Bennett, came forward and said, hey, look, at the time, I recommended that they drop John Glenn and John McCain from the list of accused because there was no evidence of any wrongdoing whatsoever. And the Democrats said they wouldn't do it because then it would leave a list of folks who were accused who were only Democrats. So they dragged John McCain as well as John Glenn, who, of course, was a Democratic senator at the time, but just innocent, through the mud. And John McCain came out the other side. And it did engender in him, though, a real quest for ethics reform. And that's why he spent the next 14 years passing it and won the JFK Profile and Courage Award and was praised by Public Citizen and for all the good work he's done.
Nancy, let me ask you this. It's become apparent that the McCain camp, both John McCain and Governor Palin, are going to be in attack mode now with 29 days left. One of the strategists for McCain apparently told the New York Times, yeah, this is going to be our strategy. We're going to attack now. Is that smart to divulge the strategy to the public?
Well, I wouldn't even pretend to try to get inside a colleague's head that way, but I will say that we feel like it's our duty over the next 4 weeks to shine a light on the differences between these two men. Americans are going to walk in that voting booth and pull the lever for the next president of the United States, who is commander-in-chief of our military. And it's very, very important that, particularly from our perspective, because we think Barack Obama has a very scant record and misrepresents his positions and his associations, whether it's on taxes or spending or Second Amendment or campaign finance or David Ayers and Tony Rezko. He just doesn't accurately reflect the situation, and the American people need to know that.
Are we going to see Senator John McCain work his way to bring this up directly with Barack Obama about 24 hours from today?
Well, that'll be his call. I know that we'll spend most of our time, as we have during the vast length of time of this campaign, and it seems endless sometimes, talking about our plans for improving the American economy, for keeping this country safe. So I think he will spend the vast majority of his emphasis on his plans for helping middle-class Americans, for keeping the country safe, and for getting the economy back on track.
Hey, Nancy, before you go, you know, we've been hearing a lot and we've been reading a lot about this Bill Ayers character, this guy who was part of the Weather Underground. What is it? What is the one thing to you that people need to know about him and his association to Barack Obama? And it wasn't just like they saw each other, hey, down, you know, out on the sidewalk. They knew each other and were working associates for years.
Oh, yes, and part of that very exclusive Hyde Park community in Chicago. And remember, it's Ayers and his wife were infamous and notorious because of their work with Weather Underground. And right after 9/11, this man was quoted saying he was sorry they hadn't done enough, and they planned to bomb the Capitol and the Pentagon. Obviously, as you discussed earlier on your program, they basically are a hate America group. And for Barack Obama to launch his political career at their home and then serve on a very small board and be very closely linked with him, at least from a working standpoint, that just shows tremendously poor judgment at best. And I think most Americans don't view hanging out with a former terrorist as something that can be overlooked. It's not something any of us would really do. It's not a youthful indiscretion that you overlook.
Yeah.
All right, Nancy Pfotenhauer with the McCain camp. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
We want to tell